how the classification system works. And if you are in butterflies, you might know the names of the families. But do you know why they are there? आपको मालूम है तो जैसे अच्छा ऐसे जो होती है तो जब आप नेचर में आते तो पहले तो मकड़ी है, तितली है, कीड़ा है, बहुत अच्छी बात है। फिर हम थोड़ा गहराई में जाना चाहते हैं तो वो क्लासिफिकेशन पर आ जाती है बात। और कभी कभी लगता है चैलेंज की भाई ये चलता कैसे है ये पूरा तमाशा, और इसको थोड़ा सा आज देखते हैं। तो जैसे कल आपको बताया था कि टांग जो है वो इस्तेमाल होते हैं क्लासिफिकेशन में, 2 टांग, 4 टांग, 6 टांग, 8 टांग। और एक बार आप टांग के आगे निकल गए तो कुछ फीचर्स ढूंढते हैं जो रैंडम है। कोई ये नहीं है कि जैसे टांगों का क्लासिफिकेशन है वो रैंडम है, कोई ये नहीं कि हर चीज इसी पर टिका हुआ है। अगर फर्क है प्रकृति में इन चीजों में तो उसको इस्तेमाल किया जाएगा, अगर फर्क नहीं है तो कोई और चीज ढूंढेंगे। जैसे तितली और पतंगा, हम सोचते हैं कि तितली और पतंगा में बहुत बड़ा फर्क है, पर असली में आपको कल बताया कि बहुत छोटा सा फर्क है कि उसका एंटेना एंड में सूजा हुआ है और उसके पंख में जो है वो जोड़ने का तरीका नहीं है, तो वो तितली कहलाता है और बाकी सब पतंगे कहलाते हैं, है ना। तो क्लासिफिकेशन जनरलाइज्ड है और रैंडम चीजों पर आधारित है। तो तितली के समेत इंडिया में 6 परिवार हैं और दुनिया में 7 परिवार है। एक 7वां परिवार वेस्ट इंडीज में होता है। वेस्ट इंडीज में आप जानते होंगे कहाँ होता है, तो वहाँ पे एक 7वां परिवार है जो इंडिया में नहीं होता, वो रात को उड़ते हैं, दिन में नहीं उड़ते, रात को उड़ते हैं। पहले वो पतंगों में क्लासिफाई किया था, अब उनको तितली में डाल दिया। तो इंडियन के बारे में देख लेते हैं। ये 6 परिवार हैं। आप में से कोई हमें समझा सकते हैं कि इनमें क्या फर्क है? जस्ट टू गेट एन आइडिया ऑफ आपका क्या समझ है। Can anybody help and tell us how these families are distinguished, except for Anne? Shivani, yes.
Maybe colors are different, like we have segregated them based on the colors.
So rang mein.
Like blues and whites and yellows.
Blues and whites. So
then the tails.
tails.
Yes. Swirls.
और कुछ
निम्फैलिडी में सारे टाइगर्स एंड कॉमन क्रो, एग फ्लाइज सारे।
Brush footed, we can say.
हाँ, ब्रश फुट।
और कुछ Size. So where should I put that in? You don't know that. Size. Where should I put that in? These are small. Okay.
Can you say different seasonal forms? Not for
There's different female seasonal forms, the pale day, the Nepali day, in some blues. It wouldn't work.
There's no food.
No, they feed on. There overlaps. There are cases where the blues and the papilias feed on the same plants.
Based on habitats?
No, they have a
Flying pattern.
together.
Flying pattern.
Not a flying pattern because then nymphalidia mimicking the papilionidia and then they have a similar flying pattern.
Body structure of larvae, larval stage.
You can tell some differences from the larval stage, but they're not really hard and fast. They're overlaps.
shape and size of the eggs?
Yes, you can tell the family from that, but again, they're overlaps. There are cases where you don't really, you can't. If it's long and cylindrical, it's a period. But then you have some, I think blues also have some eggs like that. It's a sort of a mix. They're overlaps, yes.
Based on the pregnant.
And then they have, the skippers they have hooked tips. Hooked. Okay. And the other ones have club tips. In fact, the skippers were put in a different superfamily called Hesperoidea,
Yes.
or earlier it used to be Gripocera. So butterflies were Rhopalocera. Cera, you know what a cera means? Ceros. What does ceros mean? You're not allowed and you have to tie your hands down. Horn. Okay, come. Ceros means horn. You have a rhinoceros means a nose horn. Narsinh. Rhinoceros. Rhino matlab naak. Ceros matlab seen. So बिचारे का नाम ही Narsinh है. Anyway, तो और बहुवचन is Sera. एक वचन is Seros, बहुवचन Sera. तो पहले ही रोपालू Sera मतलब गदा सिंह. जैसे हनुमान जी का गदा है ना, तो गदा सिंह क्लब एंटेने होते थे. और मॉथ्स जो थे वो हेटेरोसेरा, विभिन्न सीन, क्योंकि 20 के आसपास प्रकार के एंटेने होते हैं. और ये जो स्किपर्स हैं हेस्पेरिडे, ये जो है ये ग्रिपोसेरा यानी कि हुक एंटेने, इनके एंटेने के एंड में हुक है. तो पर अब जो है डीएनए से पता चला तो सब एक ही सुपर फैमिली में आते हैं. और कुछ
DNA.
हाँ
DNA जिसका
DNA again it overlaps in a way. Where the difference is because DNA is basically hydrogen, carbon, oxygen, nitrogen series. So at what point and how do you look at that?
I mean,
You can look at similarities.
individually जिसके भी DNA सबसे ज़्यादा मैच होते हैं वो एक.
Yeah, but at what point do you make the division? How do you decide when the DNA merges into that? At what point do you say ये
In
from the family
comparison
वाला?
with a different species.
Huh?
In comparison with different species.
बेटा नहीं, it is not so simple. DNA में जो इन्होंने बहुत ज़्यादा पेश किया, actually DNA उछाला गया, DNA as a tool of taxonomy उसको उछाला गया by some Americans. और उनका इन्फ्लुएंस था तो उन्होंने साइंटिफिक पेपर लिखा उसके बारे में कि कैसे ये नया तरीके से हम स्पीशीज पहचान सकते हैं. और उसमें वो ऑथर जो था उसने रैंडमली 3% का डिफरेंस लिया कि 3% से ज़्यादा डिफरेंस है डीएनए में एक जीन के एक खास हिस्से में तो वो अलग स्पीशीज माना जा सकता है. और उसी पेपर को उसने अखबार में भी छाप दिया तो वो पब्लिक में भी आ गई बात और साइंटिफिक पब्लिक के सामने भी आ गई बात. और जनरली जो उनका इकोसिस्टम है उसने उछाल दिया इस बात को. और सच ये है कि कुछ स्पीसीज हैं जहाँ पे 3% से ज़्यादा फर्क है. डिफरेंस नहीं है, उनका डाइवर्जेंस ज़्यादा है, बट दे क्लियरली द सेम स्पीसीज। और जैसे चिंपैंजीज और ह्यूमंस है उसमें 0.5% का या 0.2% का फर्क है। तो 3% में अगर हम जाएंगे तो चिंपैंजीज भी हमारे भाई हैं और मतलब उनसे शादी करो और the whole thing collapses. So the end is none, it's all grey. जब आप ऊपर से देखते हो और आप नैरेटिव सुनते हैं तो आपको लगता है कि साफ साफ है ना, पर आप जब वास्तव में उसको उतरते हैं तो पता चलता है कि वहाँ पे कोई सॉलिड जमीन नहीं है, सब दलदल है। जेनिटैलिया में भी वही है। At what point does the shape say that कि ये उससे अलग है? There's individual variation in some species in the genitalia and they overlap from the other one. So at what point do you say कि नहीं अलग है? So you have to step very carefully. Okay. So basically जैसे मैंने कहा आपसे कि इसमें random features दिए शेप, मतलब मेरे पास एक स्क्वायर कागज का टुकड़ा है, अगर मैं उसका पतंग बनाना चाहूँ तो क्या करूँगा उसको?
You need to put a hard frame.
एक फ्रेम लगेगा उसपे, तो वो वही कागज का टुकड़ा पतंग बन जाता है। अब जो तितली होते हैं उनका भी पंख पे फ्रेम होता है, और वो जो पंख का जो फ्रेम होता है it generally follows the same pattern. अब ये जो मैंने आपको कल बताया कि ये वाला हिस्सा हवा काटता है ना, और पंख को ऐसे भी मुड़ना है या ऐसे करके भी मुड़ना है। ये मेरा पंख है तो ऐसे अबाउट यहाँ से भी होगा और ऐसे करके भी हो सकता है, और मेरे को चाहिए कि वो ऐसे भी मुड़े, वो ब्रेक करने के लिए, मुड़ने के लिए, जल्दी से उठने के लिए, सब आई वांट टू डू ऑल दैट विद माय विंग्स। सो उसके लिए इन्होंने जो फ्रेमवर्क डेवलप किया है वो एक यहाँ से हॉलो पाइप आता है, इसको सेल कहते हैं, और एक यहाँ से, अब जैसे आप देखेंगे कि ये ट्रायंगल है ना, एक कोना, दो कोना, तीन कोना, एक डंडी यहाँ से जाती है और 20 कोने को अपनी जगह पकड़ती है, ठीक है। दूसरी डंडी यहाँ से आती है और इसको पकड़ती है, तीसरी डंडी यहाँ से आती है, चौथी डंडी यहाँ से, पांचवी यहाँ से, छठी यहाँ से, और छठी और फिर सातवीं, और फिर यहाँ पे जो है ये 8, 9, 10, 11, तो यहाँ पे बहुत ज्यादा है, ये हवा काटता है, तो दिस इज वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग, और यहाँ पे पीछे कम हो, और नीचे वाले पंख में भी ये है, सेल है, एक जो है अपना कोना पकड़ रहा है, दो करेंगे दो यहाँ से जा रहा है, 3 यहाँ से जा रहा है, 4 यहाँ से जा रहा है, 5 यहाँ से जा रहा है, 6 यहाँ से जा रहा है, 7 और 8 के पीछे। अब जो वीडियो ली गई है, इन्होंने क्या किया, ये जो पंख का हिस्सा है, ये वाला, इसको इन्होंने फोल्ड कर दिया ऊपर को, यहाँ आ गया, ये वाला जो हिस्सा है ये इन्होंने ऊपर फोल्ड कर दिया। नतीजा ये है कि जब ये जिंदा है तो जिंदा है, इसका सर हो गया, इसका थोरैक्स हो गया, ये हाथ में हो गया, और जो इसका आ गया, ये पीछे का पंख आ गया। जब ये बने से दांत आ गए, तो जब ये बैठा होता है तो कोशिश करने से भी ये पंख से अपने आर्गुमेंट को नहीं ला सकता है, क्योंकि ये मुड़ा हुआ है। तो अगर ऐसे किसी में है तो सीधा पपीले में नहीं आया, ठीक है। उसके 6 दांत हैं, 3 जोड़ी, और ये जो वो कोशिश करने से भी अपने आर्गुमेंट को यहाँ नहीं ला सकता है, ओके। अब इसका मुकाबला से है, जहां पे इसके भी 6 टांग है ना, एंटेने। और ये जो पियरिटी है ये अपने एब्डोमेन को ढक सकता है, क्योंकि यहाँ पे जो ये मोड़ है ये स्पीशीज वाला है। Understand? You don't understand? Just Google. Do you have a phone? Google a video in nature for images. All of you can do that if you like.
Sir, can you just explain again?
Yeah, so the abdomen is covered in the period. Then they can't cover the abdomen. To give force करते हो.
Right.
और इसमें they can cover the abdomen. So just Google the video.
But it will not affect or touch while in flight. Yes.
It will touch it. The wings will act as a cradle for the abdomen.
Okay.
See, just Google it. Take your phone out. Just Google this. EAPILIO. Okay. Images. And you'll see that all the abdomen's out. See it? All the abdomen's out. Now, Google PLET images और आपको देखेगा सारे के एब्डोमेन ढके हुए हैं, एक्सेप्ट जब वो अंडा देना चाहते हैं तो वो एब्डोमेन नीचे को निकाल देंगे, पर बाकी टाइम में एब्डोमेन इज आउट।
Why sitting position? Because people are looking at the open wing.
ओपन विंग बैठा हुआ है, ऐसे किसी बैठा हुआ है।
So the wing is also attached to.
Yes, very much. No, just go for the video. Should go back to the original search. First में जितनी बटरफ्लाइज होते हैं उसका ऊपर से आप सर देखोगे तो ये आंख है, ये आंख है, ये पैल्पाई है, उनका यहाँ पे प्रोबोसिस है दोनों, और जो एंटेने हैं वो एक साथ निकलते हैं। ठीक है, ये यहाँ पे बहुत कम डिस्टेंस है। एक ये वाले स्किपर्स हैं जो इनमें ये है कि एंटेने जो हैं बहुत दूर शुरू होते हैं, हमेशा यहाँ काफी गैप होता है और छोटे से ब्राउन वाले। बट अभी आप बस याद मत करना, तो समझो कि किस चीज पर फर्क पहचाना है, फैमिलीज का क्या डिस्टिंक्शन है। तो बाकी जितने फैमिलीज हैं बिल्कुल पास आते हैं कहते हैं ना, और इस फैमिली में वो दूर शुरू होते हैं और एंड में हुक होता है अक्सर। तो इनके एंटेने एंड में जाके ऐसे सूजे हुए होंगे और इनके एंटेने एंड में जाके थोड़ा सूजा हुआ होगा और हुक होगा। ठीक है, तो ये मेन चीज ये है, दूर आता है। रियोटिनिडे जो है इसमें आपने सुना है, आपने बोला ब्रश फुटेड बटरफ्लाई। ब्रश फुटेड का मतलब क्या होता है?
They have claws.
No, their feet are like brushes. ब्रश जैसा होता है। तो रियोटिनिडे और निम्फालिडे में जो आगे के जो टांग है इनको रिड्यूस कर दिया, तो इस पे चल नहीं सकते हैं। तो जो ये सर है, जो आगे के टांग जो नॉर्मली ऐसे होंगे और ये ऐसे होगा और ये ऐसे होगा, इसलिए जो है इसको बहुत कम कर दिया और ये सामने ऐसे ही रहता है। और इसका फंक्शन क्या है, वो कहते हैं कि जब इसको चखना होता है तो उसे निकाल के चखता है उससे, तो वो जरूरी नहीं है, कुछ और हो सकता है, पर ये जरूर है कि इसका चल नहीं सकता है। तो रियोटिनिडे में नर के 4 टांग होते हैं और मादा के 6 टांग होते हैं। मादा के रिड्यूस नहीं।
Why?
So, ये तो इसके 4 मेल 4 legs Nymphalidae, इसमें दोनों मेल और फीमेल के 4 टांग होते हैं. That's why brush footed है, जो मेल और फीमेल दोनों के रिड्यूस्ड हैं, तो चलने के लिए इनके पास 4 टांग होती हैं. जितने 4 टांग वाले हैं सारों को Nymphalidae निकाल दिया.
Are all the ones with 4 legs brush-footed?
Yeah, that's why they've been put together over there. It's by definition, if your with this vein 1 is folded over, by definition you're a puppy unit. तुम्हारा और कोई कैसे भी दिखते हो. इसलिए जो माइम्स होते हैं, जो नकलची होते हैं, वो नकल कर रहे होते हैं. इनका निम्फलिडे जहरीले होते हैं, टाइगर्स, क्रोस, वो जहरीले होते हैं. इनके 4 टांग होते हैं. माइम्स के 6 टांग होते हैं. पर क्योंकि ये फोल्डेड है तो पपी यूनिट में डाला. So that is the basis of classification. तुम्हारे 6 टांग है तुम उधर जाओ, 4 टांग है तुम उधर जाओ.
But when they are mimicking, they cannot have the brushed feet. They have
6 legs. They have 6 walking legs. And these have 4 walking legs. And finally we have the blues, which are small. और इनके 6 टांग होते हैं. कल दिखाया था आपको, जो सर का नकल कर रहे हैं फॉल्स हेड का, तो वो अक्सर इस काम में. Now what we can do, Vandana, could you help? Could we have yesterday's presentation and let's go through it and we'll keep this there and let's see if you can identify which family those butterflies fit. Yes, please answer.
Suppose that we get a male and female.
ये वाला
So how do we distinguish?
4 legs. हाँ 4 legs ये.
So what is this knot? It is not a Hesperidae. Right? It could be any of the others, but it's not a Hesperidae. Can we have the next photo? Okay. This is a Purohit, clubbed antennae, and this is a Hesperidae with a hooked antennae. See it?
See the distance
You see
between them.
the distance you see in the next few things. Okay, these are moths. So we won't look at these. Can we go to the next one? Now this fellow, which family do you think this belongs to? Huh? Purohit. Why? 6 टांग दिख रहे इसके? 6 टांग दिख रहे?
4.
4 है ना? तो किस में जाएगा वो? 4 है ना? ये उसके ब्रश फुट्स हैं, ये वाला, ये सफेद लाइन दिख रही है, ये इसका 4 लेग्स, FORE लेग्स है, आगे की टांग है, ये वाले, ये बीच की टांग है, जोड़ा, और ये बीच की टांग है. तो कौन सी फैमिली में आएगा?
This was the question. How to distinguish?
Yes. See, in South India there is 1 neodymidae. In India there are 20 neodymidae. In South America there are, I think, 800 or 900. This is a South American family, which some of them got across to the Asian mainland. And in this area, I think you don't have a neodymidae in Gujarat.
Western Ghats we have 2, Gujarat we have 1.
You have 1, but by Fasiyata.
Not yet, but not in our area. In Gujarat we have 1 and now in Western Ghats we have 2.
Yeah, the 2. Yeah. But in Kerala.
So it is easy to remember those 2 to put them in that.
Look at the photos of that, and then you have it in mind. And okay, let's go on. Which family? How many? Okay, antennae close together, so it's not a skipper. Abdomen covered, so it's not a papillionid. How many legs?
4 legs.
4 है ना? तो किसमें है?
Nymphalidae.
Nymphalidae में आ गया. यहाँ पे पता नहीं चल रहा ज्यादा इसका कितना टांग है। एक तो हाइट लेग 6 दिख रहे हैं। ओके, तो एब्डोमेन कवर है, ये तो हल्का सा निकाला है, वैसे कवर कर रखा है। एंटेना शुरू एक साथ हो रहे हैं और 6 टांग है। तो कौन है? इनसे नीचे ना आ गया छोटू वालों में ना। तो ये कौन है? इसमें क्या दिख रहा है? कुछ दिख रहा है इसमें? Can you see 6? Well, those are antennae. Which is mid leg and hind leg.
I have a question about the Trustee, about the false head butterflies like the bubble blooms.
They don't have.
Yes.
Yeah, many don't have. Like some have, not everyone has. But other families hardly have it. So if it is got a double head, it's probably this. Can you have the next? Let's go fast through this one. Let's go fast. Go. Keep going. Keep going. तो ये कौन सा फैमिली है? इमेजिन थी ना। ठीक है, नेक्स्ट। ये तुम इसमें एंटेने पास से हैं, उसमें भी एंटेने पास से हैं। तो व्हाट इज इट नॉट? एस्परीजन नहीं है ना। ओके, बाकी नहीं पता चल पा रहा है। लेट्स गो। ये सब पूरे वाले हैं, पर ठीक है, इस सब में दिख रहा है एंटेने पास से उठ रहे ना। सो ओके, these are not skippers. Go further. इसमें कितने टांग हैं? किसके क्या है? 4. ये तो मेल और फीमेल है ना, तो दोनों के 4 दिख रहे हैं। तो निम्फलिडियन आ गया। हाँ, यहाँ बताया इन दोनों को बताइए कि कौन है ये लोग। छह टांग, बॉडी कवर। Are you getting it? Same thing over there. 6 टांग, body, abdomen cover, antennae close together. Clearly there. ये तो ऊपर से दिखा तो नहीं पता चलेगा इसमें। हाँ, इसमें आप बताइए कौन कौन है? ये कौन है? 4 legs. Nymphalidae. ये 4 legs. Nymphalidae. ये
6 legs है।
6.
Firing.
आगे first, then second, third. So what is it? 6 legs and the abdomen is covered. Clearly आ गया। ये 4 legs. Nymphalidae आ गया। ये इसके कितने टांग हैं? एक जोड़ा ये हाइंड लेग इसका ये है और मिड लेग इसका ये है। 4 लेग इसका यहाँ पे उपलब्ध करवा देंगे इसको। ओके, नेक्स्ट। लेट्स गो नेक्स्ट। ये ओके, ये ओके। ब्रश फुट इसका ये सफेद लाइन है, ये वाला जो है। You got it? It's not very difficult. Once you know what to do, very easy. Come, take it forward. हाँ, इन्हें बताएं। ये कौन है? Narsinh नहीं है। ये 6 टांग 4 टांग।
False.
1 जोड़ा 2 जोड़ा 3 जोड़ा। Narsinh नहीं है। ये ये आगे का टांग, बीच का टांग, पीछे का टांग। Narsinh नहीं दिया था। और ये रियल की नहीं है। इसके 4 टांग हैं और ये FORE आगे की टांग 4 legs को यहाँ उसने बना रखे हैं। और इसकी फीमेल थी 6 टांग। Yeah, opinionated. Okay. Next. आगे ये कौन? इसमें तो सर नहीं है। कितने टांग हैं इसके? 6 दिख रहे हैं। ओके गुड। और abdomen come on. This is a little needed. So it's very small. No, not really. अंदर से ब्राउन और ऑरेंज है। इसका रेड येलो। अंदर से इसका रंग बिल्कुल अलग है। और ये जहरीला है। तो इसलिए इसमें तेज रंग काले हैं। It's poisonous. We offer this to birds and birds don't like it. They're very angry with me. It's crazy. Can we have the next? Let's go to the next. Yeah. This. Four legs or 6 legs? 4. ये हाइंड लेग आ गया इसका और ये आगे मिड लेग आ गया ये इसका FORE लेग यहाँ दबा है ब्रश ये हुआ ना abdomen covered इसमें 6 टांग दिख रहे हैं मुझे तो 4 टांग दिख ये मिड लेग आ गया उसका और ये हाइंड लेग आ गया see this is the mid leg and that is the hind leg over there and the foreleg is there over there so lymphally let's take the next these are open so you can't tell these are papillary by the way high elevation oh, can you go back so these are snow Apollos can you go back please yeah these are high elevation so they don't have tails they don't have all the other things but they have this feature that the abdomen cannot be covered by the wings so these are both papillary okay let's take the next open wing ये theory भी है वैसे चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं
Sir, you had said that PRD whites, the whites are...
The whites and the yellows.
Okay, but the earlier ones...
Can we go back? Tell me which one. Can we go back?
Apollo, sir, Apollo.
These. So because of the structure where the abdomen cannot be covered by the hind wings.
Right.
So they are in the papillary. Because of that feature. 6 legs and abdomen can't be covered.
Okay.
And here they have this fold which covers the abdomen. In the papillary, this fold, this is the vein that comes down, holds it in place. So this part is folded over inwards in the papilles. You see this? It starts off here. This is the cell. Yeah? That's vein 2. And this is the first vein. See it over there? Holding this corner in place. And this bit is folded over. Then they can't cover the abdomen. Go next. Here, this one. How many legs? 4 legs. Yeah, 4. But it has the also. It's needed. There's actually 6 legs, but I think it's out of focus over here. This legs. It's not a good photo. That one. One joda, 2 joda, 3 joda. 6 legs, abdomen covered. Here.
Ready.
Let's go next. What that fellow?
Lymphally.
6 this one? Yeah, this leg is the mid leg, this one, on the other side. It looks like 6 legs, but actually उसने ये वाला का जोड़ा जो है उसने ऊपर रखा है. So he's sitting like this. And this is the hind leg. always not very clear from a photograph always. It's better to have a specimen and visual. Come next. Let's go next. And go next. That? 4 days. Okay. Nymphaly day. Next. This one?
Hesperide.
You see the antennae originating for a what? Hesperide. Yeah? Okay. And that's through. Yeah. This is take the next. This one, what do you think? Which family? Okay, you can't cover the other one. It's easy. So that binds up the family pehchan. If you have any questions?
Sir, Hexapoda subphylum contains almost 6-legged insects.
Yes.
So, Nymphalidae family के जो members होते हैं उनके तो 4 legs होते हैं.
Actually, they have the legs, but it's reduced. है वैसे सांप भी होता है. सांप जो है वो रेप्टाइल में क्यों है? क्योंकि रेप्टाइल का पहचान 4 का है. बट सांप के रिड्यूस्ड लेग्स स्केलेटन के अंदर उसके दिखते हैं. जब आप उसका स्केलेटन निकालोगे तो उसके रिड्यूस्ड लेग्स दिखाई देंगे, एट्रोफी. तब वो रेप्टाइल में है. नहीं तो उसको तो वर्म में आना चाहिए ना, एनालिडा में आना चाहिए. इधर टांग ही नहीं थी. बट उसका स्केलेटन में उसकी टांग दिखाई देती. ओके, यस सर.
Just little revision about yesterday. I already forgot why the dragon tails have the tail. Is it for aerobatics or?
Aerobatic also, but mainly to mimic a dragonfly. It mimics the dragonfly's body. So when this, because the dragon tails, they need to get a lot of liquid minerals from the wet sand. And wet sand is usually in the open. So they congregate over there. You can have 20, 30 or sometimes 1. And they sit over there for 20 minutes or something, sucking in the water. And at that time they attack. So they hold the wings together, the transparent 4 wings, and the tails at the back they move. They move them like that. So that is attracting attention. And the rest of the body is still, and they're sucking the water. So when the bird sees it, it thinks the dragonfly and grabs the tails, thinking it's the dragonfly's body. And that breaks off and this chap goes off. So you get them often with the tails bitten off. Yes.
जो पॉइजनस बटरफ्लाई होते हैं, कोई भी रेप्टाइल या बर्ड उसका प्रे करता है, खाता है, तो उससे कुछ अफेक्ट होता है, मर जाता है रेप्टाइल.
ऐसे है कि जो प्लेन टाइगर है वो एकमात्र तितली है जिसने किसी इंसान को मारा है. आज तक 5 साल की बच्ची थी, 25 साल पहले साउथ अफ्रीका में वो खेल रही थी अपने दोस्तों के साथ और उसके मुंह के अंदर घुस गया, अंदर कटक लिया उसने. तो उसके 2 घंटे में डेथ हो गई. तो ये परमिश हुआ. तो मेरे दोस्त थे मैडेगास्कर में उस समय. तो उन्होंने कहा तितली से कोई मर नहीं सकता, ये बकवास है, ऐसा नहीं हुआ होगा. तो 2 शॉट विस्की के लगाए, गए बाहर, टाइगर पकड़ा और चबा गए तो मुंह में छाले आ गए, पूरा वो अकड़ गया, वो तो थूक दिया बाहर. तो उसके बाद वो भी मान गए, नशा उतर गया और मान गए कि अगर आप तो कहने का मतलब ये है कि अगर आपने टाइगर को मुंह में डाला तो ऑलरेडी आपके मुंह में अकड़ जाएगा. अगर आप खाओगे तो पक्का है कि आप नहीं कहते, क्योंकि उसमें कार्डिनोलाइट्स हैं, वो आपके दिल के मसल्स को और डायफ्राम के मसल्स को जकड़ देंगे. तो आप सांस नहीं ले पाओगे और दिल धड़कन रुक जाएगा. हाँ, जो भी वर्टिब्रेट है उसमें वो वही असर करेगा. पर जैसे मकड़ी है, वो अपना शिकार को पकड़ता है. अब मकड़ी का जो चैलेंज हुआ कि उसका बाहर से कैरापेस है, उसका कंकाल बाहर से है. शिकारी होने के नाते उसको अपने शिकार से 1 कदम आगे रहना, नहीं तो जो उनकी चाल है उसको काटने के लिए उसको 1 कदम आगे रहना, तभी खा पाएगा वो. तो ओवर टाइम उसका दिमाग बढ़ते रहा, मकड़ी का दिमाग बढ़ते रहा, पर बाहर का कंकाल नहीं बढ़ा. तो दिमाग अंदर को बढ़ गया, अंदर को बढ़ा तो जो उसका ये गला है ना वो छोटा होता गया. तो आज के दिन बकरी जो होते हैं वो लिक्विड पी सकते हैं, सॉलिड खाना नहीं खा सकते। तो मकड़ी पकड़ता है किसी चीज को, उसमें फॉर्मिक एसिड डालता है, वो गला देता है, फिर सुरवे को पीता है, सूप को पीता है। तो उस प्रोसेस में जो पॉइजन है वो गल जाता होगा या क्या होता होगा, तो मकड़ी को असर नहीं करता। मकड़ी जो है वो जहरीलों को खा सकता है, इसको कोई असर नहीं करता। पर अगर वर्टिब्रेट है, छिपकली, मेढक, चिड़िया, इंसान, उनको असर करता है। Any other questions?
मैंने ड्रैगन फ्लाइज को भी देखा है, पॉइजनस बटरफ्लाई खाते हैं।
हाँ, तो वही वर्टिब्रेट्स को असर करता है। तो हाउ these guys deal with it, we don't know. Yeah, good. Okay.
So why did you call the Hesperides the skippers?
Because they fly very fast. They skip about.
Right.
So
They are the only ones which are
they fly very fast.
very fast.
There are other butterflies that fly fast, but I think these guys, they go like a bullet. Some of them are territorial. Means वो एक इलाका मेल बना लेगा कि उसी इलाके में वो कंट्रोल करेगा और किसी को आने नहीं देगा। और उसमें वो बुरी तरह से होता है। और कुछ जो है वो ट्रैवल करते हैं। तो वो भी जब जाते हैं तो और तकनीक के साथ आप कह सकते हैं कि लगभग ये होगा या वो होगा। इनके साथ तो नहीं, वो गया तो
That's why they call dart, no? Dart.
yes, they dart.
Darts.
Some of them are called darts, some of them are called skippers. They fly so fast.
So could you explain us how the families got their name?
Yes.
Papilio is the Latin for butterfly. So when Linnaeus described butterflies, or he gave scientific names the first time, he called all butterflies Papilio. And all moths, I think he called Phalanae. So that name stuck, and so the Ide means family. The Hesperidae, I think, would be from the Hesperides, the Greek goddesses of the. Google Hesperides.
The garden of the Hesperides.
Hesperides.
How is it linked to them?
No, I don't know. Clearly, no, I honestly don't know. No, I don't know. I don't know. Even Swingidae and all that, we don't really understand it. In the moth family also, Noctuidae, if they are nocturnal. And for the rest, Erebus, Erebidae is from Erebus head, this black. So the Erebidae is from Erebus. But for the others, I'll tell you next time. Okay. Should we go on to the pronunciation of scientific names, or you want to take a break?
No, we can go. Names.
No, the weakest link in the chain is twins.
Okay. Okay, sir. Got it.
अभी दूसरी टॉपिक शुरू करें
Yes.
चावल का
Yes.
या थोड़ा सा ब्रेक है? नो ब्रेक। ये समझ लिया आप लोगों ने, इसको मिटा दो। किसने दिया? Parents, grandmother, sometimes Pandit ji. Okay. अब आपने अपना नाम क्या बताया? मिशिका। तो आप जब अपना नाम बताते हो तो आप मिशिका अपना नाम बताते हो। पर अगर आप अपना नाम नहीं बता पाए, आप बोल नहीं सकते हैं, तो पर आप चाहोगे कि आपका नाम मिशिका हो, और मिशिका आपको ना बोले, मिशिका ना बोले, आपको बहुत अलग उच्चारण हो सकता है ना? तब MISHIKA वो मिशिका को उच्चारण करते हैं, पर मिशिका नहीं उच्चारण करते हैं। क्यों? SH का श हो जाता है। कई लोग उच्चारण नहीं कर सकते हैं, तो वो आपको मिशिका बुलाएंगे, तो आपको गुस्सा आएगा, क्योंकि वो गलत उच्चारण होता है ना? पर अगर आपका स्पेलिंग MISHIKA होता, पर आपके पेरेंट्स आपको बोलते नहीं उसका उच्चारण मिसिका है, अब आप उनकी बात मान लेते ना। और अगर उस समय अगर आपको कोई मिशिका बुलाता तो आपको गुस्सा आता, मेरा नाम तो मिशिका है क्योंकि मेरे पेरेंट्स ने मुझे बताया कि मिशिका है मेरा नाम। ठीक है, तो बात इसलिए उठी क्योंकि जितने नाम दिए हुए हैं साइंटिफिक नाम, वो किसी ने दिए हुए हैं और वो चाहते हैं कि उसका कुछ एक खास तरीके से उच्चारण हो। तो पेरेंट्स चाहते हैं जो उन्होंने नाम अपने बच्चे को दिया है वो उचित तरीके से उच्चारण हो, स्पेलिंग कुछ भी हो जो भी हो, पर उसका उच्चारण सही होना चाहिए। तो अगर हम किसी इंसान का नाम का उचित उच्चारण जानना चाहें तो हम किससे पूछेंगे? उसके माँ बाप से पूछेंगे। इन द केस ऑफ इंसेक्ट्स वी विल आस्क द ऑथर्स कि आपने कैसे चाहा उस चीज का उच्चारण हो। ठीक है, और जो इंडियन अभी बटरफ्लाइज की बात हो रही, जो इंडियन बटरफ्लाइज है ज्यादातर यूरोपियंस ने नाम दिए हुए हैं, पर यूरोपियंस में कुछ ब्रिटिश ऑथर्स हैं, कुछ स्वीडिश ऑथर्स हैं, कुछ डच ऑथर्स हैं, कुछ फ्रेंच ऑथर्स हैं, कुछ जर्मन ऑथर्स हैं जिन्होंने ये नाम दिए हैं। तो उचित होगा कि हम उन तिथियों का नाम उस प्रकार से उच्चारण करें जैसे उनके नाम दाता ने चाहा। ठीक है, ओके। तो अब हमने ABCD सीखा है। ABCD कौन सा अल्फाबेट कहलाता है? किस भाषा का अल्फाबेट है? लैटिन। लैटिन का अल्फाबेट है वो। और लैटिन कहाँ बोला जाता था? ग्रीस में तो ग्रीक, रोम में, इटली में लैटिन बोला जाता था। तो जो लैटिन का अल्फाबेट है ABCD है, पर जब वो इंग्लैंड गया तो उसका उच्चारण बदल गया। तो जो पूरा आपको गड़बड़ लगता है कि इसका उच्चारण कैसे होगा, उसका उच्चारण कैसे होगा, कोई ऐसे कहता है कोई वैसे कहता है, वो इसलिए है क्योंकि नाम दिए हैं यूरोपियंस ने और प्रोनाउंस कर रहे हैं इंग्लिश तरीके से जो हमें सिखाया गया स्कूल में, और जब आप उसको जोड़ोगे तो नहीं बैठती है बात। तो लैटिन का प्रोनाउंसिएशन के हिसाब से अगर हमने प्रोनाउंस करना है तो हमें देखना पड़ेगा कि रोमन लोग उसका कैसे उच्चारण करते हैं। समझ गए? तो आप ये लिख सकते हैं अब इंग्लिश तरीके से तो हमने स्कूल में सीखा है। हाल में आपने देखा होगा कि इंटरनेट में आ रहा है कि जो हमें सिखाया गया कि ये आखिरी वाला अक्षर Z है, और आजकल हमें समझाया जा रहा है कि वो Z है। तो एक ही चीज को उच्चारण कई तरीके से हो सकता है। अब आप सब देवनागरी तो लिखते ही हैं, ठीक है, गुजराती मुझे लिखना आता है, तो देवनागरी में मैं आपको समझा दूंगा। अगर आप चाहें तो गुजराती में somebody wants to write it, they're welcome। तो इसका उच्चारण जो है मैं आपको जर्मन तरीका बताऊंगा, which is closest to the old Latin। So the German alphabet pronunciation will give us the Dutch, the Danish, the Swedish pronunciations। ठीक है, so ये जो है ये आ है, ये बे है, इसका देवनागरी में है नहीं कुछ अक्षर, पर द क्लोजेस्ट इज ए। ये तो एफ ही है, ये हमेशा ए में आएगा। ये ऐसे रहेंगे। बे,
बे, से, दे, ए, के,
एफ,
एफ, के, हा, ई, य, का, एल, एन, एन, पे, कु, आर, एस, ते, उ, फ्राउ, वे, एक्स, इप्सिलॉन एंड जेड।
तो इसमें जो है आप देखोगे कि फर्क इसमें आया, इसमें आया, इसमें आया, इसमें आया, इसमें बहुत बड़ा फर्क आया, इसमें थोड़ा फर्क है, ये बहुत फर्क है, ये बहुत फर्क है, और इसमें फर्क है क्योंकि उच्चारण में, और इसी में गड़बड़ होता है। सो इंग्लिश में ये ए, पर उसमें आ है, पर ए आता ही नहीं है। यहाँ पे अगर इंग्लिश में मैंने ये लिखा, गाय लिखा, तो वो ग का उच्चारण आएगा। अगर मैंने इसके सामने ई डाल दिया तो ज का उच्चारण आएगा, पर ये लैटिन में ज का उच्चारण नहीं आएगा, हमेशा ग आएगा, ये नहीं आएगा उसमें। और ये जो है ज, वो है नहीं, वो य होता है। इसलिए जो हमारा ईसाई धर्म है, उसके जो जिन्होंने शुरुआत किया था, जो मसीह आते, वो कौन थे?
जीसस, जीसस,
यीशु। ओके, तो उनके माँ बाप ने जो उनको नाम दिया वो था यीशु, यीशु। तो जब उनकी डेथ हुई, जो आज के दिन इजराइल है, उनके वहां पे क्रूस पर लटकाया, फिर जो है जो उनके शिष्य थे अलग अलग जगह गए, तो जो रोम गए, उनका नाम पीटर था, तो वहां जाके उन्होंने ये धर्म फैलाना शुरू किया। अब रोम में जब उन्होंने यीशु लिखा, तो ये सु, पर लैटिन में अगर एक वचन नर है तो उसमें उस लगेगा, ठीक है? तो इसका उच्चारण था हेसुस, येसुस। तो यूरोप में हेसुस के नाम से था। जब वो इंग्लैंड गया तब वो जीसस बन गया, पर जीसस नाम का कोई काफी इंसान कभी था ये प्रॉब्लम वहां पे भी आता है, क्यों नहीं? जो है थोड़े से नाम के उच्चारण देखते हैं। पहले में लिखा जगह देने के लिए यहाँ पे छोटे में लिख देते हैं कि इसका उच्चारण क्या होगा? ये पैपिलियो नहीं होगा। जो इंग्लिश का ए है, पैप, PAP is pap in English, but it's pap in German or in Latin. Pap. So it will be papilio. इप्सिलॉन जो है वो छोटी ई की मात्रा का काम करता है। पॉलिटेस तो छोटी ई की मात्रा का काम करेगा। तो जो पोलाइटेस होगा इंग्लिश प्रोनाउंसिएशन में वाई का जो है वो ईयर का काम करेगा, पर लैटिन में वो छोटी ई का मात्रा है, पॉलिटेस। और कुछ बताएं? छोटी की मात्रा ये खरा आएगा, पर क्र बोल दीजिए, कोई बात नहीं। अच्छा ये ओके, एक सेकंड सॉरी, गलती मेरी। What are these?
Wow.
And what are these?
Consonant.
And why are they separated? Why are they treated as different things? What is the difference between a vowel and a consonant?
Sounds.
So there are different sounds here too. So what is the, why are these five chosen as a different group and all the rest are put together in one line?
इसको pronounce करते mouth parts का use नहीं होता।
The pitches.
Not really. No. Okay. These are the hard sounds. These are the hard sounds. B, C, D, F, G, G. और अगर आपने G और F को एक साथ रखा, G, F, तो उसका उच्चारण नहीं कर सकते। तो ये लगाइए जो कॉन्सोनेंट्स है वो ईट है और जो वावल्स हैं वो सीमेंट है। अब G और F के बीच में कोई भी एक वावल लगा दो तो उसका उच्चारण कर सकते हैं। सो ये जो है ये उच्चारण करने में मदद करते हैं, पर हर बार उच्चारण एक सा नहीं होता है। तो अगर हम कहें Can somebody read this out?
Cat, sit, got, cut.
Okay. Cat, set, sit, got, cut. अब आप देखेंगे सी के दो उच्चारण हैं, स और क। तो सी के बाद ई लगेगा तो स का उच्चारण है, सी के बाद ओ का, यू का, ए का तो क का उच्चारण है। तो यहाँ पे क आ गया, यहाँ पे स आ गया, स आ गया, क और क। तो This is called a soft C and this is called a hard C. So, let's look at here. Grand blue. CN would make kna, but कोई बात नहीं, न में ही आ जाए, और J जो है वो य का काम करता है, तो दिस दिखता है इतना कठिन है पर इसका उच्चारण नहीं है उससे.
So the letter becomes silent.
Yes, in German you have the KN is pronounced. So garlic, for example, is Knoblauch, KNOB, Knob. But in English, KNOB में हम K को छोड़ दिया, Knob हो गया. So in German it will be nails, and but you can say nails also. You can got it. That is not a big deal. Yes, ma'am.
Don't you think it would be useful to mention that this Latin alphabet, it's actually also including Greek letters, because the example that you gave, Chrysippus, it's the key, Greek key. At the time, yes, just as now we all have, some of us speak English because the dominant language in the world, the lingua franca, the language we use between nations to communicate at the moment, it's English. You're Indian, I'm French. To find the middle way, we use English. At the time of the Roman Empire, so Latin was the equivalent of English used to communicate, trade, etc. But the cultural model was Greek. So the language of the elite was still Greek. So we incorporated also some of the Greek letters when you see
Epsilon.
Yes, epsilon. So those letters, તમે ગુજરાતી બોલો છો અને લખો છો. જ્યારે લખો છો તમને ખબર છે ઉચ્ચારણ કેવી છે. Latin languages, Latin ભાષામાં આવું જ નથી, કારણ કે રોમન એમ્પાયર બહુ ફેલાઈ ગયું અને અલગ અલગ જગ્યામાં ઉચ્ચારણ બદલાઈ ગઈ. તેની અસરથી અંગ્રેજી, ફ્રાન્સીસી, એ બધા યુરોપિયન લેંગ્વેજ we are non-phonetic. તમારી ભાષા ફોનેટિક છે, લખો છો તો ઉચ્ચારણ કરી શકો છો. અમે લખીએ છીએ, તમને ખ્યાલ નહીં હોય કેવી રીતે ઉચ્ચારણ કરવાની છે, કેમ કે હિસ્ટોરિકલ છે. It doesn't translate the sound, it translates the history of the language. So there are signs of Greek in the language, there are signs of Latin, there will be signs of Celtic or different people in that language. So you don't know from the way it is written, you know how it is going to be pronounced. So the word that Peter wrote earlier, Chrysippus, the origin is Greek. That CH that you find in Christ is K, the letter K in Greek, and it's pronounced K, like the C here, or like K. So it's the problem is compounded, you know, by the role model that the Greeks were for the Latins, the Romans. Sorry.
The Greek is perfect. The Greek is the oldest civilization. So they took the civilization of the Greeks and used that. Anyway.
Sir, the sound of C
is curve.
But then we write it, when we use that sound, like does
In front of an E, in front of an E and in front of an I. So there's the soft C, and here it will be the hard C, the curve and the circle. So the U will always be a badi matra, U. So it will never be us. US is not us, it's a us. Give me a name with a us.
Hussein. Hussein.
It won't be missing bus. It will be missing us because it's a very looking mother. Us. Let's take something else.
Manus.
Yeah, let's take another one here. Now, in English, TIA is pronounced Shreya, but in Latin it's pronounced Tia. In German, in Latin, in Hindi, कोई अक्षर को हम छोड़ते नहीं. अगर वहाँ है तो उसका उच्चारण होता है. And English, there are many letters that are not pronounced, and we shall not talk about French. This will be Genu, Tia. It won't be Genu Shia. Because although in English E is J, German, so in English it will be Genutia, Genutia. But in Latin it will be Genutia. Okay. Some other names? Okay. Here's something that's always mispronounced. In Latin would be pronounced Ditsinide would be the proper pronunciation. If you go to England, then they will call it Lysinide. And if you go to other parts, the Germans will call it Likanide. But the original pronunciation is Ditsinide. Yeah? What else do you have difficulty with?
Sorry, is this pronunciation is used globally or it's the original pronunciation?
It's the original.
Okay.
And if you go to Britain, they wanted to assert cultural superiority. So they would laugh at you if you pronounced it the Latin way. The Europeans were laughed at for pronouncing it the European way, and then they wanted to have it. So the English would call this Lysinide. So they admit the CAE is a sir, but they will not admit that the epsilon is not a Y. Although when they say Egypt, in the English spelling of Egypt, Y is an epsilon. It's not Egypt. So if this is lie, then that should be Egypt. Okay, so they trade off. It's a bit of this and a bit of that. Like Madam said, there's a lot of crooked history behind all of this. So this would be, correctly, it would be Litsinide. That is how the person who gave the name Litzinia, there's a group of red butterflies in the family. All Litzinia are not blue, there are many reds and blacks and browns and greens. And they gave the name Litzinia, I forget, Fabricius or somebody. Litzinia. So he wanted to pronounce Litzinia. And so we shall pronounce it the way he wanted it pronounced. Simple. The argument is shut down. That is why I was asking about the names in the beginning. So who's the authority? The authority is the parent who gave the name. So in this case, who's the authority? The person who gave the name. So the way that person wanted it pronounced, we pronounce it that way. And that shuts down all the other arguments. That in English is pronounced like that and in German is pronounced like that. Well, how did he want it to be pronounced? Any other names that you can think of? Do you have a chart?
Lemon pansy.
Yellow pansy.
Junonia and Junonia. Junonia.
Because that's from the Greek goddess Juno. Roman or Greek? Roman. And Greek, no? So that's from this goddess Juno. So, Junonia. And the species name would be let's try it. No. Vulcans. Vulcan was a Roman god. The CA is Ka. It's a hard C. CAT, cat. Ka. Now this is V is Vulcanus. But because I think the Roman pronunciation would be Vulcanus. So in this case, I think, what do you say then?
Now, there's a difference between the original pronunciation of the Romans at the time of the Roman Empire and what it became when it became a lingua franca.
Yeah.
So originally it would have been
Vulcanus, yes. Originally it would be Vulcanus.
Yes. And they also used to pronounce D and B the same.
The same, V and B.
That's why they had to say that bibire es bibire. To drink and to live is the same. You have to drink and to drink. And they pronounce the two letters the same way.
Okay, so in this case it will be Vulcanus. You can use the F also, Vulcan, but the O is there.
It's like Volkswagen and Volkswagen.
Yeah, German Volkswagen is the proper pronunciation of that. Volkswagen. Volks means people, wagen means vehicle. People's vehicle. Janta ka gadi. Volkswagen. What else?
Sir, another one.
Yes.
Where there is ES at last. Like this is not a butterfly, calotis or calotis.
The lotus. That is a lizard.
Yes.
So C-A-L-O-T-E-S. Now here is what it is. C is soft or hard? Hard. Lotus.
Calotis.
Our teachers mispronounced that.
See, I've given you not only the pronunciation, but the basis of why it's pronounced that way. So you can judge for yourself when somebody is saying in some way, is that correct, or would you like to say it in the proper way? And if they challenge you for saying it that way, you give them this. Isn't it? This is the basis. How do the parents want their name pronounced? How did Linnaeus want Papilio pronounced? Isn't it? That's the way we say it. It shuts down all arguments. Okay, any other names that you can think of? When I come on, dig up some names. Yeah?
Sir, how to pronounce your full name?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please.
So, Sme, this is a soft T, Ta, and this is a Ch. So originally the name had this. And if you were the German part of the family, it would be CZ. So CZ becomes Ch. So Smetacek.
Smetacek.
German philosopher, Nietzsche.
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 No, this is more like Czechoslovakia. So we are Czech. It's a tribe. The Slovaks are tried, the Czechs are tried. So this is Smetacek.
Smetacek. Okay, Smetacek.
Vandana, hook up some names. Oh, that should have asked. Why?
Pirate.
No.
Smetacek.
So, only natak gameche. Natak global jam show. तो युवक में इटाली में एक नाटक कथा હતું નામ કોમેડિયા દે લાર્તે અને 16th century થી બહુ ફેલાઈ ગયું આખા યુરોપમાં અને એમાં એક કેરેક્ટરનું નામ ફેરો એનું ફ્રાન્સીસી નામ પડ્યું છે કારણ કે ફ્રાન્સમાં બહુ મોટું આર્ટ ફોર્મ બની ગયું ફેરોના કપડા સફેદ અને કાળા છે આપણા ફેરો પતંગિયા કાળા અને સફેદ છે તો એ કોમેડિયા દે લાર્ટેના કેરેક્ટરમાંથી નામ આવ્યું છે
Oh wow.
ફ્રાન્સીસી pronunciation
The Franciscan pronunciation is that if a word ends in like consonant, you don't pronounce the consonant.
Not only that, if the normally A will be almost mute, you know, but because it's followed by a double consonant, it becomes N, P-O. Anyways, that's
But basically, they want to know why it is not PL out.
yes.
So in French, if the word ends in a consonant, अगर consonant में खत्म होता है French शब्द, तो उसका उच्चारण नहीं किया जाता, इसलिए मैं उधर को जा ही नहीं आता पहले। तो इसका उच्चारण क्लियर होगा। The L. For that LM, so तो इसमें जो L चुप हो जाता है, इसका वास्तव में मुझे मालूम नहीं क्यों होता है वो। It can easily be called palm, salmon, कोई उच्चारण में डिफिकल्टी नहीं है। बट इसका जो है वो कहीं रास्ते में वो हो गया, तो इसको लिखने में तो लिखा जाता है, तो उच्चारण स्टार्ट नहीं किया जाता है। I honestly don't know why. But what?
Phonetic process. Sometimes some consonants like the L here, they become vowels over time under the influence of different speakers. And in English, that A-L becomes a long A sound. So
The L is followed.
it makes the R very long.
It's a palm. P-A-L-M is not
It become a U
palm. Which is normally the P-A-L is palm. So if you want an
Al.
if you're Sa and palm, then you put an L there to make it double A.
Double A,
In
yes.
English they don't write double A. You never have an AA, except for the aardvark. And the Danish town of Aarhus. So that's English. So let's talk about the doubles. Talk about the doubles. Do you know why you have double letters, double P's, double L's, double M's? Combination में वो double M आ जाता है और एक N और दो M क्यों होते हैं? ना? Okay. You got understood this, huh? I can take this up. Basically the J is a year, the V is a fur, the W is verb, Y is छोटी की मात्रा, and I is बड़ी की मात्रा. Once you got that, the rest will fit into place. Here, I want you to look at Anwaraj. these are the vowels of the Devanagari. Right? And here we have the vowels of the English. But if you notice, there are only 5 English vowels, and how many Devanagari? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But in pronunciation, you don't have this thing where Devanagari Hindi has more different pronunciations than English. The vowels are the same. So how do they use 5 vowels to cover the 10 vowels that they have here? So this depends on the combination you use it in. So here we have okay. Anybody read it? Children? Lovely.
Set, sit, caught, cut.
Now read it.
Create,
Sete.
Side.
side, what,
So, but you only in one case you pronounce it over here, sete. But in the other cases you didn't pronounce these. But they change the pronunciation of this.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So you understand how that works? Okay. So cat. अगर CAT है तो which one? K तो नहीं होगा cat. Right? So the A would be this one, right? Cat. अब केट लिख दिया तो क हो जाएगा ना, तो ये वाला आएगा ना, by adding the E, तो मात्रा चेंज। ऐसे करके जो 5 वावल्स है वो 10 का काम कर रहे हैं। If you want छोटी E and बड़ी E, so अगर आपको बड़ी ई चाहिए तो आपने एक और जोड़ दिया यहाँ, बीट हो गया, बड़ी ई बन गई, ऐसे करके 5 वावल से 10 का काम आ जाता है। Now the problem comes if this is what is this C okay C U T. What is this?
Cut.
Now I want to say cuter. Right? Okay, so CUTER. Now I want to say cutter. So I have to remove the influence of this one on that. And I will remove the influence by putting a double T here. So this is not affecting this anymore. So this is CUT, cut, TER, ter. That is the word of double letters. It removes the influence of the vowel. But this is kindergarten stuff. We shouldn't cover it this way. But it does help if you understand this. They don't explain this in school.
Yes.
They do actually. Now.
Pardon me?
Now they do.
Yeah, now they do. Yeah. Now they do? Oh, well done. Very good. Okay, so can you give me any other scientific name that you are finding difficulty with? Other can help. Anybody with a butterfly book, we can just go through it and see if there are some names.
Alcicoides.
So it will be an it's an I, so it's a soft C. Al C. Simpo. E मात्रा, I बड़ी की मात्रा, E and des. I'll sip O E des. Not als side O E des. I'll sip O E des. And if it is an us at the end, if it was, it is never das, it is dus. कभी दस का वो नहीं आएगा. The US would be dus. Yeah? Anything else?
Anything ending with US is pus.
Pus.
Whether it is PUS pus or DUS pus.
Yeah. The U is a badi ki matra. O. Us. Not us. In English it's us. In Latin it's us. Any other? हमेशा जब आपको लंबे साइंटिफिक नाम दिखेंगे तो उसको तीन में तोड़ दो या दो या तीन में. तो बाउल का है तो यहाँ पे दो आल सिप ओ ई दुस एक साथ मत कोशिश करना. जर्मन में भी बहुत लंबे शब्द होते हैं तो उसको जोड़ के बात बोलना पड़ता है ना. और इंग्लिश में भी जो लंबे शब्द होते हैं, I used to have when I used to teach, I used to have a challenge with the children कि आप डिक्शनरी से कोई भी शब्द ढूंढो, अगर मुझे उसका मीनिंग आता है तो मेरे को पॉइंट मिलेगा, अगर आप मुझे नहीं आता तो आपको पॉइंट मिलेगा. तो दैट वाज टू गेट देम टू रीड द डिक्शनरी. सो वो शुरू में क्या करने लगे, लंबे ढूंढने लगे. तो उसको तोड़ के उनके अक्षर से उनको समझाया तो फिर एक बार एक लड़का गुस्सा आ गया, हम लंबे शब्द ढूंढते हैं और आप उसको तोड़ के छोटे में समझा देते हैं, तो ये गलत है. ऐसा नहीं होता. So basically you break it down and always कोई लंबा शब्द अपने आप में नहीं होता है, वो जोड़ा हुआ होता है. कई शब्द को जोड़ के लंबा शब्द बनता है. उसके कभी घबराने की बात नहीं है ना. और एक बार आपको ये चाबी मिल गई, इसका उच्चारण था, फिर आज के दिन गूगल बाबा है, आप उसका मीनिंग अल से कोई जो
मीनिंग के साथ there is also the pronunciation which comes.
But you see, you have to be careful of what they are telling you. So if it's the Brits and the Americans have a completely different pronunciation.
Okay.
Right? So then they look at you like this and say, oh, it's this, you don't know this.
Okay.
That is why I said, if it is an American who's given it the name, pronounce it the American way. Okay, that's it. How would you pronounce this? Okay. Okay. Now, Charlton was an Englishman. So this is named after him. So he would want his name pronounced Charlton. So in Latin it would be Carltonius. Right? But since the guy's name is Charlton, so out of deference to his name, we call it Charltonius. The use will be Latin, but his name will be the way he wanted it pronounced. Yeah? Now, here you have many names which end in an I. How will you pronounce that? Paul?
Paul. P-A-U-L is Paul.
Right. Paul. And how would you pronounce the I at the end? E. Okay. So, Pauli. If it is an Englishman's name, Pauli if it is a German name. Okay. So, but the I is pronounced E. Right? And then sometimes you find there's a double I at the end. Now, what is the difference between the single I and the double I? The difference is that if it is a name, Leslie.
Leslie.
So if the last letter is a vowel, then you won't add an I over here. You will replace the vowel with an I. Here we have two vowels at the end. So here we will keep the E and add one I to make it because it ends in a thing. But if it was only L-E-S-L-E, right? So it ends in a vowel, so we wipe that one out and put two I's over there. Leslie. That is the origin of the double I. And this is if it's a man. And if it is a girl, it ends in an AE. So Laurier would be, it's named after a girl. If it ends in an I, it's named after a man. If it's AE, it's been named after a girl. Someday. Right? You got that? Okay. And here, there's a very funny one. You have the suffix so what would this mean? Kashmir is Kashmir. Enzis? Kashmir Enzis. But what does Enzis mean? में पाया जाने वाला. Found in. So Gujarat Enzis means found in Gujarat, whatever. There was a case of people who didn't understand the thing too well. They believed that adding Enzis made it a scientific name. So in the 1970s, we had a prime minister who was a very strict lady, and she ran the country like a household. And anyway, there were two scientists who wanted to get in her good books. So they discovered something, and they wanted to name it in her honor. So they called it Indira Gandhi Enzis. Right? So they thought that now we've named it after her, हमारे research funds खुल जाएंगे, अब तो पानी पैसे के पानी की तरह बहेगा पैसा. The unfortunate thing was that Indira Gandhi had a bit of a Latin education. She could understand the basics, and the thing that they had described was a fungus. So we never heard of those two.
Sir, in the local dialect over here, because Indian language and यहाँ पे भी काफी सारे गुजराती है, so the words like kalash, rutu, the r, we use a little bit of the tongue, which is not there in any of the Greeks or anything. Ani, the ana and
the Tamils have something else also.
Yes, so those will never come into the.
See, if a Tamil author names it, then you've got to twist your tongue and say it the way you want.
In that way, correct.
You have ideally this would be Garuda.
Correct.
But it's pronounced Garuda because the person who named it himself couldn't say it. So you call it the way he said it's a Garuda.
So Rutu or that.
Yeah.
How do we pronounce the scientific name of the TNJ?
Oh, come on, break it up into three. Genus name. Yeah.
Just for curiosity, like, Irumala, the author knows very to Australia, but then he's like.
When you are giving names, then finding appropriate names becomes difficult, and when you're giving hundreds of names, then it becomes even more difficult. So what these guys did is they took Indian dictionaries, and so Linnaeus, who started the naming of things, he put all the Greek gods and Trojan heroes and everybody on the butterflies. So Politis, Polyctor, Helenus, Agamemnon, Doson, they were all Trojan heroes. And Moore was a British author, so he put all the Indian gods and goddesses, all whatever names could possibly lay hands on, he put them. Because it becomes difficult trying to figure out appropriate names. So you'll have Tirumala and Ram, Ganesh, Sita, Hanuman. Hanuman is not there, not that I know of. Hanuman is not there, but Ram, Sita, Lakshman, Ganesh, they are all over there. So somewhere or the other they've given these names, because it's just a question of finding easy names. And you'll find the pantheon of every culture is somewhere or the other on the field, because these are easily accessible names. No? And Bhagwan ke naam de diya to kya farak hai? So that is common. Wait, I just want to, there was something else also. Yeah. So you have, so ensis means is found in, and then you have what does that mean? Found in India. But that's Greek. So this would be Latin, and this is Latin, and this is Greek.
So it's not exactly like that. In Latin, there are several what they call declinations.
Yeah.
So depending on the group you belong to, so this is the genitive case, which means of Kashmir, of, and this is an adjective, indicus, indica, indicity. So above it's also an adjective, but it's in the genitive case, which means of. This is just the feminine indica, you know, of the adjective Indian.
Right?
Yes.
And
Ensis is the last part of the case that shows off. In some words change, you know, like Gujaratima tame kocho la stoma na khevaye ma pelle badlai jai છે. તો લાતીનમાં પણ આવું છે, તેનું ઉપયોગ વાક્યમાં પછી બદલાઈ જાય છે. તો indicus, indica એક adjective છે, cus est au male, ka est female, first form છે, subject form છે. અને Kashmirensis est au genitive case નું ending છે, અને એ બતાવે છે of Kashmir. અલગ અલગ ડેફિનેશન બહુ અઘરું છે, ડિટેલ્સમાં નહીં જઈશું.
Yeah, let's just go with Ka, Kus, and Ensis.
Yes.
All are related to geographical areas. And it means found in those places. Himalayensis, Himalaica, Himalaicus. So with the same term, you have all three versions. But it just means it's found in the Himalaya. What else?
Sir, so this is a out of syllabus kind of question, but there are even some Indian butterflies that are named after some British posts like Baron, Baronet, Monarch, Sailor, Commander.
That's not the scientific names, those are the common names. There were some butterflies, see all European butterflies, there are not many of them. So most of the British butterflies had their common names historically. So the painted lady, the red admiral, these were already names published in the 1690s in books. This is before Linnaeus came with his system. So there was already the village names of these insects and different species and all that. And for Indian butterflies, the yellow pansy, before this formal system of naming came up, it used to be called the gentleman's fancy. Fancy, F-A-N-C-Y. And the blue pansy used to be called the lady's fancy. So these were ladies' fancy and gentlemen's fancy, and a few of them had names. The others didn't. Maps and all that. These sort of butterflies, it looks so much like a map that what you're going to call it. You're going to call it a map. The oak leaf butterflies, because they were found in oak forests, so they call them oak leaf butterflies. So these things got named automatically. But in 1927, a person called Harry Evans, William Harry Evans, he was a brigadier. So he put together a book covering all Indian butterflies. It was published in sections in 1927, and then he gave names to all Indian butterflies to popularize them. So he called them Mormons and the peacocks, and he changed the name of the gentleman's fancy and the lady's fancy to yellow pansy and blue pansy, and all the other names he thought up. And he published a book again in 1932, where he then sort of formalized it. And that 1932 book is still in use. That is the only book where all the butterfly species are together in one book. And they tell you the differences between them. Right? So that is still in use, that book. Now what he did, he had a sense of humor. So all the foul-feeding butterflies, do you understand the foul feeders? Butterflies that feed on animal dung, on rotten fruit, and all that. He put the whole nobility over there. So they were the Rajas, Nawabs, Sultans, barons, baronets, duchess, duke, सब उसने वहाँ डाल दिए. कोई सबको लगा कि बहुत सुंदर तितली मेरे नाम से, पर असली में उसकी आदत के हिसाब से नाम डाला था. बहुत थोड़ा बदमाशी कर गया. He had a sense of humor, and so all these names he cooked them up. And if you look at the 1932 book and you go to, he has an index of trivial names, he called them. And you go to the trivial names and you go through that, there are several names in the index which he actually changed in the text. So he didn't use those names because already at that time they were politically incorrect. Right? And then he used names like nigger and coon to describe dark butterflies. Now what happened is that in the United States and Britain, these names carry a derogatory thing that they were used for African slaves. So nigger is a corruption of the European negra, which means black, and was used to describe the Africans. So they were called negros, right? Which means blacks. And derogatory form became nigger and coon, and he named these dark butterflies the same thing. And now, our just returned foreign people, or people who are influenced by these thoughts, they want to change the name of the nigger and the coon and several others. My argument is that the word nigger and coon was never used in a derogatory fashion in Asia. It's something that you guys did. You sort it out, you don't use it. What should we change? Because if we change a name because of your political thoughts, then when do we stop? We will change nigger because you feel bad about it, but you're still calling the African Americans blacks. So you call them black in another language, that's acceptable, but you call them black in Latin is unacceptable. ये कौन सा hypocrisy है? And then when do we stop? Because you have the pansies. Now pansy is a derogatory word in their language too. They use what for us is a flower. They've used it to describe a LGBT whatever, one of those letters. So somebody comes along and says, oh, pansy hurts my feelings. Let it hurt your feelings, it doesn't matter. Why should we change? Isn't then if we let that happen, okay, we change the names pansies because it is derogatory for the LGBTQ, PP++, the alphabet soup for them. Then we have the communists come along and say, हमें सुल्तान पसंद नहीं, हमें नवाब पसंद नहीं, हमें राजा पसंद नहीं, हम सभी बदल देंगे। तो भाई जो जहाँ को फूकेगा हम उधर को चले जाएंगे क्या? तो कहीं तो we understand that. So it's better not to change anything than to start changing in deference to certain externally applied imperialistic. If nigger was ever used in India in a derogatory fashion for a certain group of people, I would be the first person to say yes, change the name. But it is not. In Asia, it is not used in a derogatory fashion. So just because you decided that the word fancy, for example, is used for an LGBTQ community person, that's your problem. For us, it's a flower and a butterfly. Why should we change that? So that is my argument. And whether you agree with it or not, of course, it's your choice. But I don't see the need to change the names. Yes, Brigadier Evans gave them, he was a Welshman. The Welsh are not exactly the superior race in Britain. And so if you want to talk about that, then we can also talk about that. And there's no harm in following these things if you use Raja and Sultan, but the term Maharaja and Raja, Sultan, Nawab, they've been abolished by the Indian Constitution. You can't use them. Isn't it? You can't call somebody Maharaja. Legally, you can't call somebody a Maharaja. The titles have been abolished. Right? So, but if you use them for butterflies, where's the harm in it?
I just used to think कि जो इंग्लिश पोस्ट वाले जो बैरन बैरोनेट है, मुझे ऐसा लगा कि हम अभी तक लाइक कॉलोनियलिज्म में जी रहे हैं।
देखो, colonialism means what should we throw off and what should we keep. Because if you throw off everything, you'll end up with very little. What constitutes colonialism? I mean, where does colonialism start and trade end? Where is it free, fair trade, and where is it colonialism? Because it's all about trade, man. So where is the boundary of that? That's what I mean. So why not accept it? Say, yes, we were under the British for 200 years. There was a Mughal rule for 400 years. It's part of the history, accept it. I mean, why run away from it? I mean, there must be in your life, you must have done some things which you're not very happy about. Maybe you were caught cheating in your exams and whatever. So you're not, but it's a part of your history, why run away from it? We all have done things which we are not very happy about. So, but if we say, no, we don't want to admit that we ever did that and all that, how will it do that? Accept it, keep it, and move forward. Oh, you came and you took a lot of stuff from us for 200 years, very good. But we got the railways, we got an administrative system, we got a legal system. There was no legal system before. You know how in the time of the Rajas, you know how justice was dealt out? Oh, there wasn't justice. Read some of the older literature about what happened in the courts and in the darbars and all that. There was no justice. So now with the lawyers and the legal process and the constitution and this and that, whatever it is the British gave us. And the Mughals did bring whatever they brought with them, whatever baggage. I mean, if nothing else, they got some very good recipes. History. Accept it for what it is. They were good and bad.
We don't have a written history. It's an Islamic tradition, writing history.
Well, not really. Every
I think it's not a particular Indian.
No, there was, if you look at it, there's history in the form of word of mouth history and written history.
Written history.
Yeah, so in India it was not much of a written history, but all these rulers, many of them were megalomaniacs and they wanted their deeds recorded. So throughout pre-Islamic, all the Babylonians and all, they recorded the Epic of Gilgamesh and, the old epics are there recording the great deeds of the king. And we have the Ashok pillars all over, that's also long pre-Islamic. So we do have recorded history. And if you go with I think in Tamil Nadu, there are many Tamil Patras and all that. How do you say that? So there is recorded history. But much of it was Baba. And what they did produce was a bunch of frauds. in the form of the Manusmriti. The Manusmriti was referred to in other older texts, but the Manusmriti itself was lost. And now the Manusmriti that they discovered, you know how it was discovered? You know about that?
No.
It was discovered by a farmer in a field in West Bengal. When he was plowing his field, he turned up this copy of the Manusmriti. I wonder how long a book would last in a field in Bengal.
Yes.
Such a complete fraud that it's unbelievable.
They have copper plates and he's from whatever.
Tablets.
Yes. They write on the books.
No, but the Manusmriti is supposed to be turned up in the 1940s, I think. They turned it up in a field in Bengal. It's a complete setup, a complete fraud. I mean, there was an original Manusmriti that was lost, but the version they cooked up now. That's what I'm saying, the Tamil. Tamil is, I don't know how to say it, very Tamil, very angry. Yes, palm leaves and copper plates and all that. That's a lot of furniture.
In South India, mostly it's not palm is not used. The copper is the most significant.
Right.
Some literature at all.
So see, if a script was developed, then somebody is writing it. It wasn't so there is a body of literature wherever there is a script. And if there is a script and there is no literature, it means the conquerors destroyed it. Like the original Quran was destroyed by the third Caliph. He burned all the copies and rewrote the Quran. That's the Quran that is being followed today. The original copies of the Quran were destroyed. And what he saw and why he burned the original copies, we don't know. Because that is lost. He didn't let that come forward.